So I did a video about vintage perfumes before, and it did pretty well. Plus, I enjoy talking about vintage perfumes, so it makes sense to make another one of these videos. So I have 5 more additional vintage perfumes to go through here. One of which is a very, very popular option, is Shalimar by Guerlain. And this is a classic for several reasons. So it came out in 1925, and the 1920s was a time when most perfume houses were starting to kind of experiment more with muskier, smokier, more heavier perfumes compared to perfumes from the 1910s and earlier, which were more about florals and relatively light, natural fragrances. Shalimar was very different because it was all about spices, the oriental style, smoke, incense, amber, resin, all that. So Shalimar was just very, very an attractive choice for that time, and it's still popular today. It's a very classic choice. It's impossible for it to go out of fashion, I think, because it is a very delicious fragrance. It's perfectly balanced. It is on the heavier side, but me personally, I really enjoy it. And the main 2 options are the eau de toilette and the eau de parfum. I've only tried the eau de parfum, which is stronger. Some people say it's a little bit sweeter and a bit more syrupy compared to the eau de toilette, which I haven't tried, so I can't really compare for myself. But the version that I have, I think it's really well balanced, very incensey, kind of frankincense, sort of thing. So very, very classic choice. If you want to go back to the 20s, get Shalimar. That's the one for you. Another one from the 20s, but a completely different breed of perfume, is Lemon by Coty. This bottle alone is highly inspired off of the Art Deco style of the 1920s and 30s, that geometrical shape. And Lemon is very, very, very similar to Chanel No. 5, and it was in fact created in response to Chanel No. 5. This came out in 1927, and it's very, very pleasant. It's very kind of light, floral, powdery, and it does have some musk notes to ground those lighter notes. So it's an eau de toilette. I don't think there's an eau de parfum concentration or option. I don't really know, but I have the eau de toilette, and it's very nice. It's not too light and not too strong. Very balanced. It's kind of a forgotten gem. Like most of perfumes by Coty, most people prefer the larger designer brands these days, but this is a hidden gem, straight from the 20s. Of course, it's been reformulated since then. I'm sure it was probably more potent from the 20s, but these days it's still a very good choice, very affordable. I think I got mine for $10 or $15, and you get a lot. This is a decent sized bottle. I think it's 1.7 ounces, so very a lot of perfume for the money, and it's very nice perfume, very authentically vintage. So another one is Taboo. This was also very, very popular back in its day. This was supposedly Eartha Kitt's favorite perfume. I'm sure most people know about Eartha Kitt, very famous singer back in the day. Interestingly, this came out in 1932. Very, very spicy, very leathery, musky, rich perfume. Interestingly, so this is by Dana also. Actually, I think it was produced by a different perfume brand, which went out of business, and then it was taken up by Dana. Anyway, this perfume had an interesting history regarding its formulation. The perfume master, I suppose, wanted a perfume, end quote, a whore's perfume, a prostitute's perfume. I don't know why they were going for that, but they wanted something really, you know, sultry, spicy, kind of dark. And this is definitely it. This is, of course, it has a better reputation now, but this is definitely very similar to Shalimar, actually, less smoky, but definitely has those spices. It has some orange, you know, citrus to counteract amber and musk and civet and all those really animalistic sort of notes. So definitely, this was very, very popular during the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and so on. Again, like most of these perfumes, it's not as popular today as it once was, but it still is a very classic choice, and comes in this very sleek bottle. And it's also affordable, like Lemon. I think mine was $10 or so. They're usually around that range. So this next one, 1000, by Jean Patou. And the reason why, okay, so this came out in the 70s, but it was reformulated in the 2000s. I don't know exactly what year it came out in the 70s. I want to say 77, but I'm not sure. This is a very woodsy perfume. There's no sweetness in it at all. It's very natural, very earthy and woodsy, aromatic. There's some florals, but they don't really make it sweet. They just make it kind of refreshing. It's not too heavy and not too light. It kind of reminds you of standing in a forest. You know, you smell all that wood from the different trees. And the reason why this perfume is called 1000 supposedly is because the perfume maker behind the perfume reformulated the fragrance 1000 times until he finally got it right. So, of course, that could just be a legend, but it would be interesting if that was the case. So, a lot of work went into this perfume. This is one of the brand's less known perfumes. Joy is the most popular one. But 1000 is a good choice, especially if you don't like sweet scents. You rather have a natural, earthy, woodsy scent. This is definitely it. Very classic. There are some prominent musk notes as well. Musk was something popular in the 70s. So, very classic, very nice to wear. And last one here that I have is notoriously hard to pronounce, Anais by Cacharel. And the thing about this, my bottle is empty. There's nothing in it. So I don't know what it smells like. This was, I believe, my grandmother's. And yeah, there's no smell in this thing. But this was a very popular perfume that came out in 1978. Mainly a white floral perfume. You can pretty much get an idea from the label on the front. White floral and woodsy notes. Those are the main ones that you would get from this. And very solid bottle, actually. I can't tell if it's glass or ceramic, but it's very sturdy. And very popular during late 70s, into the 80s, into the 90s. And I'm not really sure how popular it is these days, but it's definitely a classic. It's better for those who prefer light florals, someone who doesn't want to wear anything too strong, too, heavy. This is definitely more feminine, more light, and that sort of thing. So, those are the main ones the main vintage perfumes that I have to review currently. If you have any preferences or favorite vintage perfumes, you can always mention those down in the comments below. If you like the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.